Welcome to some new r/MaliciousCompliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Penny Revenge. I worked as a shift supervisor in a department of about 60 employees. Every year there's a designated week to celebrate our profession. Every year the department director volunteered the shift supervisors that we were all shipping in to buy pizza for the department to help celebrate. The first annoyance was that I worked night shift, so she would order the pizza and give me a check to pay for it. This was after we had all contributed whatever amount she determined to be our individual share. Every year she would order about 6 pizzas for the shift and include a $2 tip for the driver. Naturally, I was mortified and I'd end up kicking in my own money for a reasonable tip. When I brought it up to her, she looked at me blankly and said she never tipped more than $2 for delivery. The final straw was the last year she worked there. She had figured out the pizza bill and determined we all owed $15.75. Pizza day comes and goes, with me, of course, shipping in another $10 out of pocket toward the tip. I open my work email and see that she sent all the shift supervisors a message. She had miscalculated the pizza bill, so we all needed to pay her another $1.65. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair, as she would be paying in more than we had. At first, I saw red. Then I dreamed up my revenge. As I said, I worked nights. So the next night, I spent quite a bit of time flicking 165 pennies under her office door. Then I emailed her to let her know I'd left the money in her office. Never heard another word, but I'm sure she crawled around and picked up every penny. The next story is called No Cash. In 2019, I moved from an apartment complex in Celebration, Florida to a condo. As usual, when you move out of an apartment, you get a final bill, which includes your last month's prorated rent, deductions for damages, security deposit refunds, and the like. We paid it. The next month, I get a call from my wife, who says that we got a follow-up bill in the mail from the apartment management company for 2 cents. We are both in the tech field, so we loved that this company's IT department missed the edge case of spending 50 cents in postage to collect 2 cents in revenue. But it happens. My wife prints out a copy of the bill. I grab 2 cents from the change jar. The apartment complex is on my daily drive, so I swing by the office. I walk in and tell the manager that I want to pay my last bill. I say, "It's 2 cents. Here's the bill, and I have the 2 cents if you want it." The manager says, "We don't take cash." Nothing else. There was an awkward pause. I say, "I don't expect you to take cash. I expect us both to have a laugh about how silly computer systems are, and for you to write off the 2 cents because it would cost you more to process the payment." She says, "I'm not going to do that." Again, awkward pause. I say, "So, you want me to write a check for 2 cents and mail it, and you are going to process that check?" The manager says, "Yes, send us a check and we'll process it." And then she walks back into her office to end the conversation. So I go home and set up an automatic monthly bank payment to my apartment complex for 3 cents. And then, because I'm a programmer, I write some code to send a letter once per month. "I am so sorry. I've overpaid my bill. Please send me a check for the overpayment." And I use an online service that sends postcards in ridiculous sizes, up to around 18 to 24, figuring that will be my escalation strategy. On the 1st of the next month, I get a call from the apartment company's regional manager. After introducing himself, the next 2 minutes were the most sincere. "Oh God, we made a mistake. Please don't do this. We'll never contact you again apology anyone could have hoped for." I stopped the mail and never heard from them again. Did I spend several hours on malicious compliance for 2 cents? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. The third story is called Only Cash. I'm a musician, and a speaker blew up about a month after the warranty expired. So even though I didn't have any warranty left, I still wanted the official repair guys to look at it. This is a business representing one of the world's largest brands that actually bought the original company that made my speakers. So I expected to be dealing with professionals. I brought the speaker to them, and they said they'd take a look and quote me for the repairs. So far so good. The quote took weeks. Then it took them about 3 months to repair it, apparently having to wait or have forgotten about for the parts that needed replacing. At this point I was already mildly annoyed. I felt that months for a part replacement was pushing it, even with the supply chain issues. But eventually I got an email with a notification that I could collect my speaker upon payment in cash. No way to wire transfer the money. The bill was €330 and a bit. It was explicitly mentioned that they didn't accept cards. Because I'm a musician and from time to time I go busking, I find the art of trying to entertain people who have no interest in being entertained challenging. Anyway, that means I collect a lot of coins in the process. They wanted cash? I will give them cash. I counted out the money and whatever coins I had in my money box. I put it into heavy plastic containers and went to collect my speaker. So they got me my speaker. Everything seemed fine. And then the guy mentioned I still needed to pay. I produced my boxes. There was an audible swallow. The guy asked if I had larger money. I offered to pay by card. He said I couldn't. Well, then I don't have other ways of paying them. It was amazing how quickly the 3 men working there passed this job to the only woman in the store, because she got the honor of counting the money. I sat down and waited. It took well over half an hour, and she claimed I was short. Now, I couldn't have been, so I went to try and check on her work, but our systems of counting were nothing alike, hers being the erroneous one. After several minutes of trying to work out what was wrong, she spotted an error in her system that explained why she miscounted by almost €120. I took my speaker to my car. I heard someone say that maybe they should invest in a counting machine. Yeah, that's the problem here, guys. The manual counting. Great deduction. The last story is called Resting Times. I recently moved, and my new neighbors seem to have no concept of how much noise they are making. Loud music until late at night, guests having loud conversations or screaming matches. You know the drill. It is important to note that there are resting times where I live. You are generally not allowed to make noise between 10 PM and 6 AM on weekdays. That includes loud music. A couple of days ago, at around 11 PM during the week, I knocked on their door, asking them to turn their music down as I had work in the morning. They asked why that was their problem. I replied that not only for the sake of being neighborly should they turn their music down, but also because it's illegal to be this loud at this time of day. They reply, "What, you're gonna call the police because of some music? That would not be very neighborly either. So how about we all mind our business and just stick to our own apartment?" Huh? Alright. The party went on until about 2 AM. Then they finally stopped. Meanwhile, I decided to take a home office day to exact my revenge on them. At exactly 6 AM, knowing that my other neighbor had gone to work, I, for the first time ever, turned my 800-watt speaker system all the way up to 11. Volume, bass boost, treble, everything. I also turned my subwoofer towards the wall that had their bedroom on the other side. I'm a big fan of electronic music, especially the hard stuff. Anything that is loud and has a lot of basses. So I let them share in my joy at full volume. The walls were vibrating, the ground was shaking. I decided to wear earplugs because it was just too much even for me. After about 15 minutes at full volume, I get a notification that someone is at my door. I open it, music still blaring at full power. To my angry looking neighbors in their pajamas, reeking of alcohol. They of course asked me to stop. What? You're gonna get angry over a little music? Well, it's not very neighborly. How about you stick to your apartment? Huh? I then slammed the door in their face and turned off my doorbell. After another hour of various music, I turned off my system, walked over to their door and rang up a storm. After they'd opened their door, all I said was, "Peace? Resting times between 22 and 6 during the week? Pretty cool." And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.